$300 million. That is what Warren Buffett was worth at age 50 in 1980. And here is the part that should stop you cold. 99% of his wealth came after that. If you are someone who saves seriously, who has a real number building in a brokerage account, I have spent years looking at what actually blows that number up. And it is almost never the market. It is one sentence at dinner, one screenshot in a group chat, one casually dropped salary number to a coworker. I keep seeing the same pattern over and over. The richest investor alive made his fortune in the decades nobody was watching, and most people will never copy him because they cannot stay quiet long enough. Today I want to show you why. 6 things: the mechanism, the receipt from a Nobel Prize winner, the math you lose, and 3 moves you can run this week to turn your acoustic signature down. Stay with me on the Buffett number for a second. At 50, $300 million. By his 80s, more than $100 billion. And yes, that's after decades of giving away enormous chunks of it. That entire gap, the part that made him a household name, happened in decades when his behavior looked boring. Old Toyota. Same house in Omaha for a lifetime. Costco runs. No signaling. In naval engineering, there is a term for what Buffett was doing: acoustic signature. It is the unique combination of sounds a vessel makes: machinery, propeller, hull moving through water. That signature is what lets sonar detect you, classify you, and target you. The whole point of modern submarine design is to drive it towards zero, because surfacing means becoming a target. Your money has an acoustic signature too. Every time you tell someone your savings number, every visible upgrade, every casual mention of a bonus, you are broadcasting. And the world is listening, not in a paranoid way, in the boring way. Your own brain is listening. Your social circle is listening. The platforms in your pocket are listening. Most people read Buffett's old car and Costco habits as personal quirks. I'd argue they are not quirks at all. They are deliberate refusals to broadcast. Now you might push back. Buffett is just frugal. He is cheap. That is not it. He is quiet because he understands a mechanism. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Picture this: 18th century Paris. A French philosopher named Denis Diderot is broke. The Empress of Russia, Catherine the Great, hears about it and buys his entire personal library for 15,000 livres in 1765. He is suddenly liquid. He uses some of the money to buy one thing: an elegant scarlet dressing gown. And then everything in his apartment starts to look wrong. The desk looks shabby next to the gown, so he replaces the desk. The chair clashes with the new desk, so he replaces the chair, then the tapestries, then the prints on the walls. He wrote an essay about it later: "Regrets on parting with my old dressing gown." The line that lasted 300 years was this: he had been absolute master of his old robe. He had become a slave to his new one. I find this completely backwards from how most people think about lifestyle creep. It is not a discipline failure. It is a mechanism that activates the moment one visible part of your life shifts. Now, fair pushback here. Some upgrades are intentional. You worked hard, you bought a nicer couch, and that is not what we are talking about here. The line is whether the upgrade was triggered by visibility, by a number you announced, an identity you signaled, or by a private, unforced choice. Diderot didn't choose the cascade. The robe chose it for him. If you have ever made one upgrade and then watched 5 more follow inside 6 months, hit that like. You have already met the mechanism. So that is the 18th century version. Here is the modern receipt. In 2017, Richard Thaler won the Nobel Prize in Economics for his work on behavioral economics, including a concept called mental accounting. His finding, summarized: human financial decisions are piecemeal, not comprehensive. We do not optimize across our whole financial picture. We respond to local cues, to the room we are in, to the identity we just announced. This is why willpower loses. Your discipline is operating across your whole life. The mechanism is operating at the dinner table. There is a second mechanism that compounds the first, and almost nobody talks about it. The psychologist Peter Gollwitzer documented something called premature sense of completeness. When you publicly announce a goal, the savings target, the early retirement plan, the side business, your brain treats the announcement itself as partial achievement. It hands you a small dose of the satisfaction you were supposed to earn by actually doing the work. Your motivation drops. Read that twice. Talking about your financial goal makes you less likely to hit it. Not because anyone sabotages you, because your own brain quietly settles the bill before the work gets done. Now here is where I want you to feel the math. The mechanism is interesting on a podcast. The math is what changes how you behave on Monday morning. $800 a month, 8% average annual return, compounded monthly, 30 years. That comes out to $1,192,508 over the full window. Hold that figure in your head for a second. $800 a month, run quietly for 30 years, becomes over $1 million. Now imagine that visibility. One upgrade triggered by a goal announcement, one identity protection purchase after a casual flex, one click on the ratchet, bleeds even half of that monthly contribution. You are not losing $800 a month. You are losing the future version of those dollars. Compounding is not symmetric. You cannot make it back later because the time is what does the work. And here's the edge case I want to name because I would be lying if I made the math sound clean. The 8% return is reasonable but not guaranteed. The S&P 500 long-term average is closer to 10%. Some forecasts for 2026 sit around 11.8%. But hitting $1 million in 25 years instead of 30 would require something like 15% annual returns, well above the historical average. Compounding rewards time more than it rewards return. Time is the part visibility steals from you. If this part of the math made the picture clearer for you, subscribe so you can get more. So now you know what Buffett was protecting. The quiet decades. Let me show you exactly what he was protecting them from. Every visible upgrade is a click on the ratchet. Consumption is sticky. It goes up easily and resists coming back down without social friction. A new car at year 5 becomes the floor for year 6. A new house in a more visible zip code becomes the floor for the next renovation. None of that is a discipline problem. It is the mechanism running on schedule. Buffett refused to start the ratchet. He kept the floor low. So when his net worth went from $300 million to $10 billion to $50 billion to over $100 billion, his spending floor did not move with it. The compounding kept compounding because nothing local was bleeding it. So how do you copy that? 3 moves. Move 1. Audit. Sit down this week and write a list of every place you currently broadcast your financial position. Social media posts, group chats, the salary number you mentioned to coworkers, the visible purchases, the renovation the neighbors can see. You are looking for your acoustic signature, and you cannot lower the volume on something you have not located. Most people do this audit and are shocked at how loud they are. Move 2. Decouple your milestones from your identity. When you hit a savings number, you do not need to announce it for it to be real. Celebrate privately. Tell your partner. Tell your financial planner. Tell nobody else. The number does not need an audience. And here is the pushback I want to dispatch because I take it seriously. Some viewers will say financial silence hurts families, that not talking about money breaks trust, prevents joint planning, leaves spouses in the dark on legacy. That is fair. The move is not total silence. It is selective silence. Inside your trusted circle, partner, planner, sometimes parents, be open. Outside that circle, run quiet. If your relationship with money is closer to the partner end or closer to the social media end, drop it in the comments below. Move 3. Build the invisible floor. Before any social spending decision happens, before the dinner out budget, before the upgrade conversation, your investment contribution moves automatically. Pay yourself first. The principle is not new. The Richest Man in Babylon, written in 1926, used the line for every 10 coins you place in your purse, take out for use but 9. That book is 100 years old. The principle still works because it removes the contribution from the visible part of your life. The compounding base never gets exposed to the dinner table mechanism. This is general education, not personalized advice. Before you act on any of this, talk to a qualified financial advisor who knows your full situation. They can catch what a video can't. You are someone trying to build real money quietly. You have a number building, and you do not want one sentence at the wrong dinner to bleed years off your timeline. Buffett's operating manual is not glamorous. It is just the manual for staying invisible long enough to let the math finish its work. But here's the question I could not stop thinking about while I was putting this together. What happens after the silent compounding works? You hit your number, you quit, and you walk straight into a set of problems the spreadsheet never showed you. That is the next video, already queued up on the screen. I will see you there.